Welcome to Banner and Chance. How are you fine people doing? Thanks for joining us. We've got our 3 players here tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a whole bunch on the go. So yeah, I think we're gonna get down to it. But before we do, we're going to go around the room again, have the players introduce themselves and their characters, and they've got a question that I asked them before the go live here. So take us away, guys.
Hi, I'm Nina, and I play Gin. She is a human Kensei monk from Kozakura. And to answer the question of whether or not she would go swimming in the deep, deep ocean, I would say when she left home, yes. But since Clara's death, spoiler, no, not anymore.
Okay, I'm Brad. I play the Dragonborn Paladin, Rogar Norixius, and Dragonborn have no affinity for water. He will swim in nothing where he cannot see the bottom.
Right, so we got...
I'm Shady. I play Runt. She is a human rogue, and she would not swim in the ocean because that is terrifying.
All right. Well, we're going to have some fun over the next couple of episodes. All right. Episode 18. We've been at this quite a while now. So we're having some fun, meeting lots of nice people. We met lots of nice people. And we're going to be seeing some new faces roll in over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, we're going to get on with tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is episode 18. Titled The Loaded Deck. Before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about what happened previously on Banter and Chance. With the departure of their wizard Kane, we are now down to 3, and we have no one save our paladin who is able to cast substantial magic, although they do all have magic items in their possession. We were visited by Goro, the mentor of Gin from Kozakura. Goro appeared to her, as he has done to the group or to their allies every new moon. He warned of corruption, and Gin was able to ask several questions before once again he was interrupted by the ghost, the spectral figure of Clara, who once again violently dive-bombed the party, and they were forced to extinguish her from this realm, at least temporarily. However, there was a moment where she seemed to recognize Gin. The next day, they were honored by the city of Harrowdale. The mayor invited them down to the Stilton docks, where they had previously uncovered a drug ring, and awarded them one of the city's highest honors, declaring them heroes. But this was not to be a simple celebration, for even before they were able to make any speeches or take any applause, things went pear-shaped. And agents of Karathor appeared in the crowd. One of those sleepers was personal assistant of the Burgermeister. He ran with the others as a giant cheese construct sprang from a pile of broken cheese. Gin, Runt, and Bill Corin, the gnome, had to engage these assassin agents and attempt to apprehend the secretary, while Rogar and the paladin of Chantia fended off this cheese golem, doing major damage and bringing him down. But in the process, both getting covered in molten, gooey, sticky cheese. It was nacho average encounter. But I'll leave behind the title of the Munster Punster, and we'll move on with episode 18, The Loaded Deck. Party. You're standing in front of the Stilton docks. Rogar, you and Griffero are still wiping this sticky cheese off yourselves. And in from all angles begins to filter back some of the townsfolk, seeing that the tumult is cleared. The Burgermeister is trying to comfort people and console people and is steadily moving towards you. As is the captain of the Grey Guard. They are talking, and you can see that the townsfolk are somewhat in shock. The Burgermeister comes towards you and says, he's visibly shaken. Can you explain what happened here? I saw the monster. I heard the screams. There's several wounded and some dead city guard and citizens around. Those bodies are being cleared by crying family and friends.
Your assistant was in the employ of not just you, but someone far, far more dangerous. And dispersed throughout the crowd were other agents. They took this time.
Oof.
How could you not have known?
She's been loyal to me for going on 3 years now. And such a sweet thing.
There wasn't ever a time when she slipped up.
She would make the odd mistake. Forget to give me the odd message. I never thought anything of it, though. She did have a strange way of inviting herself into every meeting, though.
And there it is.
This won't do. I'll have my men and women clean this up. Come with me all. And he begins to herd you and these the townfolk that aren't dealing with their dead. Let us try to salvage something of this day. And he leads you down the wharf line to a large building. It's a slanted roof building. You can see that it's set up as an inn, and on the water's edge there are timber roofs and picnic tables underneath, and you can see that there's a scattering of people in there drinking. You're with about 30 of the townsfolk, and he's hustling you in. Yes.
Before we go in there, last week when we ended, I can't remember if we got into it, but I wanted to investigate Penny's body for anything.
All right,
and
go on.
any of like the people's bodies for whatever they might have on their persons, while I guess the Burgermeister is talking to Rogar.
Sure, please, let's do it. Who would you like to approach first? There's two assassins.
Definitely Penny. I'm going for Penny first.
Sure.
So.
I want to help her do that.
All right, you'll assist.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and roll investigation?
Am I rolling with advantage, Runt, or are you rolling too?
I'm good at it, but it's up to you.
We can do it each.
Okay.
Because I'm not really great at it.
Ooh, and apparently on this occasion, nor am I. I
didn't. You got a what?
12.
12. I got a 15.
All right. You look through her person. You're not able to find much. There is a small dagger that she has. It is a dark blue steel blade with a white handle. and it's about 4.5 inches long. There is in her corset, in her brassiere, you find a small folded piece of parchment. On that parchment are the words, "Shadows glint."
I'm taking everything.
Okay. Other than that, she has even her clothing and her boots? Or...
No. Like
No.
everything that I find on her,
Sure.
like
So you can take a
that I think might be suspicious.
All right. So you find those two things. You also find a pendant, necklace and pendant. It's gold, and the brooch has 3 pearls around an opal. And she has a ring, which is a black piece of obsidian. It is a simple square cut gem that's held on 2 sides by a silver setting. It looks... Obsidian's not a terribly valuable item from a gemstone perspective, but it is well set.
Okay. If there's time while they're still talking, then I would go to any of the other
Sure.
guys that we fought as well.
Sure. The other bodies, you find not much more than personal effects. However, the one body has 12 pieces of silver and 3 pieces of gold. The other body has 4 pieces of gold and 6 pieces of silver. So
Just go ahead and take everything if no one's looking.
both of the other 2 bodies, too, as you're rifling through them, you can see scarring on their chests. Familiar scars. Incidentally, you didn't find any scars on Penny.
Okay. And no markings of that black mark that was on the foreheads during that battle the other day?
No, these didn't appear to be triggered or they didn't have that black ichor, that stained face.
Okay. And none of that symbol on any like a tattoo or a piece of paper or anything?
Short of the scars, and the symbol again being the round, the black circle in the square, you can't see any of that currently.
Okay. All right. Well, if they're still talking and Brent and I are done, then I'd go up to Rogar and just see what he's doing.
Are we all walking? Okay. Picking still pieces of cheese off of me and slinging it into the gutter. Find anything?
Some things, but I'll show it to you when we get to a more private place.
He really does have a far reach.
Doesn't surprise me anymore.
The Burgermeister said that he was never aware, or at least never paid that much attention to the fact that his assistant got into every single meeting. Occasionally would avoid giving him particular bits of information, claiming she just forgot.
Is it not common in this country for assistants to join in meetings?
Not necessarily in every single one. Certainly, there've got to be some that are behind closed doors.
Do you find him suspicious?
Not yet.
Maybe he's just very naive. But after we speak with him, I'll show you what I found and maybe we can compare notes. See if there's anything else that we can try to cross out while we're still here.
Runt, you're of the people. Do you recognize anyone else or notice anyone else who seems to be watching us?
Do I notice anyone paying attention to us?
You notice people paying attention to you as they start to move past you after the Burgermeister's invitations. They're kind of, looking back, and you can see it's a mixture of admiration and they're just frightened at this point. A lot of them frightened and sad. Some of them are sort of lagging back as if they want to speak to you or whatnot. They're kind of milling as the Burgermeister sort of leads this procession. Some of them are stalling and looking back and wondering. But in terms of anybody watching you in a suspicious way, you don't notice anything right off the bat, passively.
No.
The answer is no. But they are definitely looking at you.
Okay.
There's many eyes on you, yes.
Well, we'll wait until we arrive at the pavilion.
So following this gaggle down the streets, it's not too far. You move 2 streets over. He leads you underneath, has some quiet words with the innkeeper. And in this dockside public house, you are given a table in a rather large area. You can see the water. There's the bay line. There is a fire in the middle of that. It's arranged between 2 open roofs, so the smoke is billowing out, and there's enough room for everybody in there. And the staff and many of the townsfolk immediately begin to pour flagons of ale at these large kegs that are there, and very quickly it's distributed around people, and you're given your own table, the 3 of you, Bill Quorum and Griffero, to sort of sit and collect yourself. Several of the townsfolk begin to come up, wanting to just say thank you and shake your hand and offer words of kindness and just say it's so nice to have someone that's willing to stand up for us. And this is mothers and some people. There's some once the ale starts to hit, people are getting a little more relaxed and they begin to sort of talk and relax, and several conversations are breaking out at the different tables. In the corner, the band that was at the opening of the at your award ceremony sets up and start to play in low tunes. Not quite as raucous or gleeful, but they're definitely trying to lift people's spirits. You're each served ale to start, and the serving wench comes over and says, can I get anything else for you? Would you like anything at all?
I wanna show her my flagon and say,
I'm going to need you to keep this coming, please.
Okay. And she sort of looks at both of you and she said, yeah, she's awfully young. Is she okay to drink?
Yes, she's okay to drink.
She sort of startled. Okay. And she's not much older than you are, so she hurries away. Unless Geen or Rogar, you'd like to order anything additional.
No, in fact,
She comes back with what's that?
I'm gonna give my ale to Runt.
Okay.
And I'll pass mine to Griffaro.
Griffaro is more than happy to take yours. Bill Quorum has one in front of him as well, and the foam is over his face. He's shaken, but seems kind of happy and relaxed to be part of the team. Soon the young woman Becky returns, and Becky has brought 2 more flagons of beer. She sets them in front. She sees that you've got a second already and sort of hesitantly puts it down. Turns to one of her assistants and one of her staff or co-workers and presents you with a large cheese plate for your enjoyment. She says, this is the best we have, and she puts it in front of you. And
Oh, bad timing, girl.
the mayor Burgermeister begins. He comes over and he slides in next to you, Rogar, and he's sort of drinking, and he says, I can't believe it. It's as if I feel like I've known her forever, and I'm sorry she's gone. You're sure you needed to kill her, though? I mean, it seemed a little excessive. Anyway.
Seeing that there's grown-up talk going on, and now very much drinking a lot, Runt is going to go kind of dance her way towards where the music is being played.
Have a good time, young Merriweather. The mayor calls after you.
Her? Oh, yes.
He turns.
I'll keep my eye on her while I'm still a part of this conversation.
Death is never something that is absolute.
You've seen a lot of death on the road.
We have. Absolutely necessary, I should say. But in this case, violence begat violence.
How does a group like yours come together? It's so strange. A dragonborn and a woman from the east and a young child.
There were more of us.
The magic wielder I knew. I had reports that young Harbinger had left suddenly.
We had a half-elven sorceress with us for a while as well. We miss her very much.
Like you said, we know death very well.
Before we talk more, here, and he shuffles the drinks around. Let us have a drink to your sorceress. What was her name?
Clara?
Let's have a toast to Clara. And for whatever good was in her, let's bid farewell to Penny as well. May she find some peace. And he holds up his glass.
Raise it up and I'll clink the one that's been set in front of me, but I won't actually take anything more than just the tiniest sip.
Just
I'll
wetting your
too.
beak, eh? Just wetting your beak, eh, there, pup, says Griffaro to you. Rogar gives you a big smack on the back.
My senses need to be sharp.
My senses need to be dull to do the kind of work we need to do. And he takes polishes off the second of his drinks.
Rogar, is it common for people of faith to drink so heavily?
It depends. On high holy days, yes. But that depends entirely upon the god or goddess one worships. There's a vast pantheon, and they call for different things at different times.
Well, Griffaro wipes his beard. Little lady. Jaunty is the god of plenty. She gives us plenty of barley and plenty of hops. And plenty of clean water for good ale. Isn't that right, Burgermeister? And Burgermeister sort of smiles and lifts up his glass. It would be a sin to not partake of her riches, would it not? And he calls for another stein.
Are there any young men of Runt's age around by any chance?
Yeah, there are. There's quite a few. 15, 16, 17, in that age.
She's gonna find one that she fancies and see if he wants to dance with her.
How would she go about asking? There's 3 in the bar that she can see right away.
Okay.
One appears to have dark hair, one red, and one dirty blonde. The one with the red hair is the shortest. The one with the blonde hair is the tallest.
Which one looks the dirtiest?
That would be the one with the black hair.
Okay. So she's gonna walk up to him and kick him in the shin.
Ah!
Hey, you!
What do you want? Jeez! Oh, gosh!
You want to dance with me?
Not if you're gonna kick me in the shin. Gee, can you believe this one?
You have 2, you know. I can do the other one too.
Ah, Bilger, go give her a spin. Yeah, Bilger, see if you can give her a spin, Bilger. And the 2 of them push him into the middle with you, and he goes, all right, you asked for it. And he begins to spin you around the floor. And I would like you to go ahead and roll a performance check.
Right.
I'm gonna elbow Rogar and just say, look,
Hey!
You're right. 23. Oh, wait, no, I take that back. It is not that good. It's only 19.
Well, you're doing a heck of a lot better than Bilger. Bilger seems to be all left feet, though he seems more than happy to give it a try.
You're really bad at this.
I'm good at lots of stuff. Come on, maybe I'll get used to it. And he puts you for another spin. And he begins to take you around another spin on the dance floor. While this is going on, Rogar, what are you thinking? And Geen.
That she's finally acting her age.
I'm
Yeah.
just amazed that she's talking to people that aren't us.
There's
I'd like to add that I'm also trying to pick any money he has in his pockets while we're dancing.
Bilger doesn't have a whole bunch, so at least not visible. So why don't you go ahead and roll a stealth check?
Well,
Or a sleight of hand, pardon me.
I've got a 16 on the sleight of hand.
And he is completely oblivious.
Yay!
So you are able to empty anything that he has in his pockets. Unfortunately, that ain't much. He has 3 silver and 4 copper.
Ugh.
He also has 4 buttons.
I will take the buttons, and I will also push him away. And
Hey! I thought we were having fun.
Take your money, you stupid.
What? You little... Stay away from me. Oh my gosh. And and he sort of goes away grumbling, hurt feelings, and like he's been made a fool of. And he goes back over to his friends, and they're laughing at him, and he's slapping his back, and he's angry at you, but they don't seem to be paying it a lot of mind.
to the kegs.
All right, you head towards this open row of kegs where the servers are filling up steins. I would like Geen and Rogar to roll perception for me, please.
17.
10.
And I would also like Runt to roll me a quick con save.
No, that's not gonna be good. That's a 4.
All right. 17 went to Geen, yes?
Yeah.
Geen, you are pretty aware that Runt is starting to list slightly as she's walking. She seems to be holding her own given the amount that she's drinking, but you know, three, 4, 5 steins in, she's starting.
And then I stabbed him right in the fist.
And so she starts to tell these stories of her heroics, and she's getting quite a little gathering, around her. Some of the rougher gents in the bar and some of the fancier women, we'll say, are all sort of laughing, some at her, some with her. Tell us what you did to him then.
Then I cut off his fingers.
Whoa.
I think I ate them. I don't remember.
Whoa. And they're laughing and carousing.
Without saying anything, I'm just gonna stand up from the table and head towards Runt's direction and try to go through the crowd to get near to her, calling out, Beatrice.
I want to notice this, and then
Beatrice! Gein's looking for you.
Runt.
I don't know where she is.
Runt.
Yes.
You're Beatrice.
Oh. Yeah. Beatrice! That's me!
Yeah.
Beatrice! Okay, I got to go. I got stuff to do.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna try
What?
to take her by her shoulders. And
One more for the road.
I'm gonna grab some more and then get led away.
I'm just gonna lean her towards the direction of the table and then just kind of push her under the table.
There's as you get there, Rogar, the mayor is continuing to sort of asking you questions about your adventure so far, and in particular, he is interested, around why you came, and doesn't seem to be prying, but just is trying to piece it all together, whatever you're willing to tell him.
The youth and I met in Baldur's Gate, and then we crossed paths with the rest of the party in Eshabenford.
Well, the youth of today, they're lost. We have children running around, urchins, parentless. More by the day. I don't understand it. It's everywhere. It's a terrible thing to see kids on the street, but Harrowdale's and we've seen better days, safer days. It's at this time that you notice a few tables over, this older man get up and come towards you. He's got a dirty leather apron on, stained with what looks like oxidized metal. He comes over and he says, "Well, I'd have to say that I owe you my thanks. And I am glad that stinking Oni has gone, that blue-mouthed bastard. I understand I've got you to thank for it, so thank you very much."
How did you know about the Oni?
We've been spending near on the last 2 years in his service. in the service of his master, working my fingers raw. And yeah, I think I would still be there if it wasn't for him being gone. So thank you. I'm going to have my drinks here, and after this last good night, I'm going to pack up and go. Run away. I'm not interested in staying here anymore. No offense, Burgermeister, but I apply my trade somewhere else, become a tinker like my father. I just don't need to stay here and watch someone like that come back and put me back to work. They had my last shipment. Puh. Let them have it. I don't care anymore.
What was your last shipment?
I'm Nantilsvar Flugt. That's my name. Silversmith. I spent years designing the most grand mirrors in all of Feyran. And this Keratur has me every year for now 2 years running, making the same stinking mirror. This mirror. All of the love has gone out it for me. Curse his name.
Did he say mirror?
Mirror. The finest mirror you'll ever see, young one. You're a pretty thing. You should know what a mirror is. Bill pipes up and says, I know what a mirror is. I got a great mirror right here. And he holds up this brass mirror with a polished silver surface. Oh, for child's play. That's a simple mirror. In my day, I could have made one of those while I took a shit.
Runt's gonna crawl up to the table and sit down next to this guy, and she still has the 2 broken mirrors that she found. She's gonna hold those up to him and ask,
Hey, man. What's to know about these mirrors right here?
Where did you get these?
You mind your own business about where I got it. Just tell me what you know. Please?
These are my mirrors.
Oh.
But this scrolling here on the front, these 2 names, it's not my hand. And it's sloppy work. I would not have carved names like these into a fine mirror like this. What a waste. You ruin it.
Yeah.
These are mine, same stinking mirrors. I don't want to see them again.
Okay.
You see this name here. Look. You see how the Y and the B aren't properly formed? Jaeber? Who
Yeah,
would
but
have...
I'll take your word for it. Continue.
What is your question? They're mine. They're broken now, obviously.
Okay. Thank you.
Ay, you're welcome, little one. If I had a fresh one, I'd give it to you. But this cursed things, I suggest you throw them in the fire or sell the silver. They're awful.
I'm gonna go get more to drink.
Okay.
I'm consoling Bilk while he's talking to Runt.
How did your little girl get them mirrors?
I would assume it was after we killed the Oni.
There were many things down there. It could have been in any of the crates or on any of the shelves.
These are the same type of mirror I just sent. I just sent 30 of these mirrors down the road.
To where?
Kerathur. Or at least they were bound for Baldur's Gate. They left. They left this afternoon. Not 2 hours ago. Right around the time of the troubles with the cheese.
Why would Karathor need so many mirrors?
I've made him hundreds of mirrors now. 30. That's just the last month and a half's work. But
Well,
they left this
Rogar-
afternoon on the ship.
Rogar, do you think these mirrors might have something to do with that army Karathor's building?
He said that there were names scrawled on the front. I'd have a look at them.
Those names are names of the makers?
No. Those are little girls' names, little boys' names. Yarba, boy's name. Rosalind, girl's name. Or woman's name. But these are little kids' mirrors. Look, they're small. It's the type of thing you give to a baby or a little kid. I made many different shapes and sizes. It wasn't until they began ordering these mirrors over and over and over again.
It's maybe not for the army, but
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I wish the boat was still here. You could take a look. It's long gone. Fast boat. Anyway.
oh,
Well, Burgermeister, you want to be seeing me around these parts again? I'm going. I can't figure out if I'm from Italy or from Norway, but I'll do my best. What I would say is when you see these, yeah, I don't know.
Finish your thought.
There's always dark business, right? And the crew on his boats, always dark. The Shadow Glint is no exception. Sailing, reaving, raping. Yeah, I'll leave you now. Unless there's anything else I can do for you.
This Shadow's Glint that you mentioned, it's the name of the boat?
The Burgermeister turns to you. Oh yes, it's the Shadow's Glint is here quite often. Very fast riverboat. Deep run, but quick. Can fight the current easily with its big sails and race down again on its way. When it races for the Sea of Broken Swords, it's a very fast ship. Began sailing under the Black Dot 2.5 years ago. The captain, Creel, he's tough. But you won't find a faster ship that visits Harrowdale. I'll tell you that. And I thought about it this afternoon, you know. I'm glad to see it go. There's always trouble.
When is it due next?
We'll likely see it in 2, maybe 3 months' time. Fluke turns to you and says, Yeah, that's about right. I'm supposed to have another shipment ready in 2.5 months' time, but Karathor can stick it up his ass as far as I'm concerned.
Rogar, This wasn't Penny's person when I found her. I'm gonna give him the parchment that says Shadows Glint. Should we go after it?
The mayor is looking over your shoulder, and you can see he has a real troubled look on his face, as if he, is just realizing how he's been played the fool. And he's holding his face, he's sweating profusely.
Water travel has not treated us kindly before in the past, but it might be the fastest way to find this ship, especially if it left today.
Is there
I
a
will-
ship in town that runs just as fast as the Shadows Glint?
I'll have someone check. Kale, come here! And he brings over a man. Run down to the dock. Ask Master Navarin when the next fast ship is due and come back right away. Kale heads off, hops the fence that's at the end of your little, or you can see him running down towards a lit portion of the dock where there seems to be a large livery.
He's very loud, Bubba. Are people always this loud in this area?
May just be the way that he is.
He's covering it up, you see. Fluke turns to you. Some people, they deal with fright by becoming louder, others quieter. I plan to get very quiet very fast. Why? I think you should look forward to being gone of this place. Last night, 2 more murders in their beds. I have no wish to stay in this place where I was put under the order of that Eastern troll.
Well, it's dead now, so you're free.
And I thank thee. If I can do anything for you, you let me know. But if there's nothing, I will go.
Helm's blessing upon you.
And you, brother of Helm? Chantia's blessing on you too there, Fucht. And you too, Griffaro. You take care. Take care and say goodbye to the High Harvesters for me. Tell her, for my part, I'm sorry, and I will seek to do better in the future. You, little one, you be careful of those mirrors. And you, keep her safe. And with that, he turns and he begins to stride out the door.
We really need to get out of this city. Are we done, Rogar, speaking to the master, or should we head back to the
We're
bounty?
waiting
party-
to hear on the fastest ship.
There's one thing that I don't really understand, guys, says Bilk.
Yes?
We come this far, so what's next now? What are we doing?
Bilk, I don't know if it's safe for you to continue on with us like this.
I've been okay this so far. And you got a great haircut.
I do, and thank you again. But you should build your shop here and stay.
Oh, no. No. Sorry. I'm coming with you. Okay, well, I don't have to be part of the team anymore, but I'm just coming with you.
We might be going against a large army, Bilk.
You need extra hands. I got hands.
It could be very dangerous.
Cutting hair's dangerous. You ever cut a person's hair and they don't like it? Ugh. Crazy. I've been in closer shaves than this. Ma!
My mind just is constantly thinking about Runt and the gnome dude. I forgot his name.
The gnome dude. Oh.
The jail guy that she killed. Well, that's just all I'm thinking while he's talking.
Grimshackle.
Yeah. That's all I'm. Was he a gnome? Was he a dwarf?
He was a halfling.
Yeah.
Oh, halfling. Okay. Yeah. While he's talking, that's all I'm thinking.
Besides, I've been asked to pull a tooth or two, and I got some medical experience, so in a pinch, you never know. Maybe I could be handy. And I can get in small places. I'm good with my hands. And
Rogar, your thoughts?
I wouldn't say no to anybody who's willing to come with you, three fools. Ugh. And Griffero's just looking into his drink.
Bilt can stay
With us or
with us.
with us? Okay.
Griffero's shaking his head.
Okay.
We'll wait on the fastest ship, or the announcement of the fastest ship, and then we should be off.
Yes.
Kane has hopped back over the fence, and you can see he's talking to the Burgermeister, who then comes back over to you and turns and says, There is a fast ship expected tonight, in fact. They're just waiting on it now. It's expected before dusk. Kale just told me that Master Navarin is assurances that they'll make it. It's a hardy crew and has been reliable so far. It's called the Dancing Swords.
Runt's gonna start touching Gein's face.
Under my veil.
Keen, you
Runt?
are so pretty.
As are you.
I know.
One more con save there, Runt.
Oh god. 10 even.
Yeah, I'm staying awake.
I'm just gonna kind of hug her. I'm just gonna whisper really, really softly to Rogar. Isn't Pev supposed to stay with us?
I was just thinking that.
Are we going to take him on this boat?
We should return to talk to the High Harvest Mistress one more time. Griffaro will need to return as well.
Now?
We know about this ship, the Dancing Swords. I'm quite certain that we could purchase passage.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you think that we're gonna be chased? Do you have people chasing you? I mean, it seems like there's always somebody. We had Jaren. Okay, well, he's out of the picture. Brightsong, she knew you. Are there more behind us?
Oh yeah, there's somebody chasing us for sure. For sure.
Well, I mean, there's that shadow man. but he seems to be able to appear at any place at any time. So,
What's this Shadow Man? Griffaro says. And if you remember, he wasn't at the camp with you when that took place.
a man part of some group from where I'm from.
What group?
They're called Shadowbenders. I'm not very familiar with them. I've only just heard of them last night. But I'm not sure how much more we can learn of them from here, at least.
If you're dealing with shadow weavers, if that's what you mean, you're going to need help. I've had experience with the Shatterkai. They're not easy foes.
What did you call them?
Dusk Elves, Shatterkai. You know this. Rogar, I'm sure.
Shadowkai?
Yes,
Shadowkai.
they are from the Shadowfell. A world in between.
Would I have known about this?
You start to piece it together, and you start to... You may have had a different word for it in your culture, but you are definitely familiar with the notion of this type of dusk elf, this type of this other type of fae, this dark fae, right?
Okay. Just vaguely, though, and like not very well, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you prepared to do this? Are you sure? I understand we took down a Oni and a cheese monster, but does that set us up for going deeper into all of this? Are you
Absolutely,
confident?
it does. Absolutely. The gods protect all of us. In everything that we do and everything that we see.
I've had my share of run-ins. But you're only 6, Rogar. You're a pup. And this one, she's not much past being a little girl.
Hey, why don't you fight me and see how girl little I am?
You got a lot of bluster, girl, but I've had farts louder than you. And you're looking for your sister, and I respect that. But you see him for the first time kind of brighten up at the table here. Family causes people to do stupid things. You should know better. You should know better, pup, letting these two run around. Fist of Helm, you're supposed to be protecting. Back in my day, I could have taken that Oni on by myself. I was prepared.
I do recall taking on that Oni almost by myself.
Whoa. Well, I'll admit you got a few good hits in. But I mean, what's your pot of gold at the end of this rainbow? Why are you chasing mirrors?
We're not entirely sure about what the mirrors are.
Why are you chasing this witch?
She's not a witch.
Mirrors you don't understand. A witch you don't think is a witch. What is in this for you? You got Kane's uncle back.
There's more.
What's more?
The witch you so inappropriately spoke of is not a witch at all. She's family. They also have the High Platter of Ulthuan, someone by the name of the Scorpion Prince.
See, that confuses me, Rogar. Why would they call him a prince? Where I'm from, there is no prince, or he's not a prince. We have a clan, yes. I wouldn't call Tetsuo a prince.
So what would be his name then? His title?
Right now, I don't think he really has one. I mean, his brother's clan champion, but he's just working for his father.
Is this clan known for this type of activity?
They're known for... What's a good common word for this? Sketchy? Sketchy activity? But it's accepted by all clans in the country just because they are the ones who would do this type of work out of respect for his emperor. They are viewed as untrustworthy, but the rest of us just kind of deal with them.
A necessary evil.
Pretty much. They just do the work that his emperor cannot do because he is too honorable to do it.
Rogar, I don't understand you. I don't understand how you're saying just because she's her sister that she has a get out of jail free card. I have a brother, he's an asshole. He's the dirtiest, low-down piece of garbage that you've ever met. If he was right now, I'd stake him to that post. Family doesn't make it right.
Where I'm from, family is everything.
This is
Where-
my family.
Where you're from, people are blind by honor.
And family is our honor.
And yet here you are.
In search of my sister. I'm not blind. I know where I'm going.
This witch has done... Sorry. Your sister has done bad things. Rogar, you gotta see this. Something
with
like
wide
that
open eyes.
doesn't happen to Burkle. All those poor souls upstairs in the Chantian temple, screaming for their mamas.
We don't believe by any stretch of the imagination that she's working under her own volition.
Not everybody can be redeemed, brother. You have a responsibility to vanquish evil from this earth. Yes, to clean the roads of Helm. That's your job. What are you gonna do when you find her? What are you gonna do, miss, when he finds her?
Bring her home.
What will you be bringing home?
My sister.
And what if she isn't your sister anymore? Like, my brother is not my brother. He spat forth from my mama just like me, but I'll tell you, she wouldn't have given birth to him in the first place. Had she lived to see what he became, Chantia, rest her soul. I don't say this to be cruel, young'un. I say this to try to pass on some of the wisdom of my years.
Well, I just hope that whatever wisdom that you're giving to me is not one that my values lie in. And I leave the table.
Okay. You then, Rogar, feel a hand on your shoulder, and that same hand is on the shoulder of... the other hand of that same body is on the shoulder of Griffaro. Runt, you peel your eyes up from the table, and you can see that the Burgermeister is standing there, and he says, "Something's happened. Come outside." He leads you to the front of this tavern, and there is one of the Grey Guard, and he gets down, and he says, "I just received a note moments ago. We're to meet the city guard right now." And he steps you aside. Geen, you see Rogar and Griffaro being led out the door.
I was heading towards the door. As soon as
Then-
I left the table, I was
Awesome.
heading towards the door.
Right on. Then you see a group of 3 gray cloaks standing at the door, and a swell of citizens moving in behind them. And one of the gray cloaks swings himself down off his horse, and he approaches the Burgermeister. And he says, "Burgermeister, yes, Tavin, what is it?" "Children, sir. Children have been stolen. We just began to piece it all together as the reports from these parents coming behind me and others started to filter in. There's screaming mothers, fathers trying to console their wives. There's sisters and brothers that are lost. The Burgermeister leans in closer with these 3 guys and then turns around to you and says, "An acolyte, a young priestess of Chantia, is dead. One of San's group is dead. One of the mothers here from the town are dead. They were on a picnic, and they had 30 children with them from the temple and from around the town. They were taken earlier today. Nobody found out until their bodies were discovered. We began to piece it together. It appears they were loaded onto the Shadow's Glint, taken downriver. You can see that a wagon is behind them, a large armored wagon. The High Harvestress is up with the horses, and she begins to try to move this wagon through the crowd slowly. One of her priestesses, the large cleric that you'd met up in the infirmary, is there with the horses, plain sight, on the top of the wagon, driving these forward. And she's saying, "Let us through! Let us through!" And she slowly pulls up to you and is watching you. What do you do?
Where were they taken from?
As I say, they were camping in the fields, or picnicking in the fields. Apparently they were stolen. I have no information other than the 3 women that were with them were killed and left
And
for the crows.
How does one silence 30 children?
I don't know. I have no answers here. I don't know what to say to these parents.
Wait. How many mirrors was he making?
Luke said 30. About 30.
And he said these are young boy and girls' names.
Yes.
We need to get on that boat.
Do we need to go back to the temple and get help?
I'd suggest we go talk to the High Harvestress. She looks like she's on a mission. She wouldn't be here otherwise. If she's heard of this, I'd say we go talk to her first.
We shouldn't waste any more time.
She catches Griffero's eye and sort of motions to him, and he seems to understand. He says, she's going to pull the wagon around. You come with me. And he begins to go back through the drinking area where you were, leaving behind the Burgermeister and leads you to the back fence. Now, Runt, are you with them at this point, or are you still at the table?
I pictured myself being with Rogar, but only standing because I was leaning on him.
Okay. He hops the 3-rail fence that's at the back of this this pavilion, and he motions to you to come. He says they're all going to join us in a moment here. Let's see what she has to say. And you see the wagon of the High Harvestress now turning down the dock road and coming up beside you. My children, the High Harvestress says, the time for you to go is now. You've heard what has happened.
What would you have us do about Pev?
Our friend is with us. As is all that you brought with you. You'll find it all in order in the back. You can't send these youngins out into the world like this. Look, Hildegard, they're not ready. I know they're not ready. Griff. What would a paladin of Chantia do about that, Griffaro? I understand, he says, when he heads to the back of the wagon. Three of you are standing there next to the wagon. The High Harvestress is at the reins. You can hear the crowd on the other side of this block. You can also hear the angst and the anger escalating a bit, and then you see this crowd turn down the same dock road, following there are some really upset people. They are, pain of people discovering that their children are gone and missing, are echoing through the streets, and the crowd now turns, torches lighting their way, and you can see them starting to move down towards, and now the Burgermeister is at their head again, and they're all moving down towards the wagon.
We need to go.
We need to get you on a ship.
We already know of one.
That ship. It must carry you south. You understand this?
We go where the children go. This is all just another tendril of their schemes.
Let's get to the docks. We'll talk about it there.
Get on the wagon.
She, as soon as you're all on, she speeds up the horses. The crowd is still sort of in this loose gaggle, and you could see that they were sort of flowing towards you, and they're still moving towards you. But she clears the next 2 blocks relatively quickly. At the edge of the dock, you see that there is a receiving area and a dock cabin, and an older man holding up a torch as braziers burn behind him. Crates and dock goods lining around, something being staged and shipped out tomorrow. He comes up and he approaches the High Harvestress and he says, "Your High Harvestress, what are you doing down at the docks this late at night?" "Hello, Navarin. I have people here in need of passage. Your fastest ship." "This is the ship that Kale was asking about. The Dancing Sword, yes. The Dancing Sword is on its way. I have a man on the High Watch looking for it now. When it rounds the head, we should be informed. But High Harvestress, it's full. I have this shipment ready to go. And it's loaded. It's loaded down with timber and ore. It just left Falan 2 days ago. Slow going for such a fast ship, but we'll be here soon. What do you expect me to do?" "I have fish and wine ready to rot in the sun." The crowd is following in behind. The High Harvestress turns to you. "Well, what do you 3 suggest we do?"
We have to follow that ship.
How much do you stand to make with all of the goods?
I'm just paid for shipment, but there'll be penalties. Penalties for late shipment. We could lose some product. What's happened? What's going on? Why this sudden need to leave?
There's not a lot of time to explain.
Did you hear about the attack at the Burgermeister's speech?
Yeah,
And the members of the crowd who were two-faced.
I heard someone killed Sweet Penny.
Yeah, not so sweet. She was working for the enemy the entire time.
Well, I can get a ship arranged for you. It can be here in 3 days.
Girl, we need to go now.
This ship is full. The ship will be unloaded and reloaded. It's full of passengers and goods. They're all heading down.
I mean, we don't have to ask. What? I mean,
It's 10 days. If the weather turns gloomy, it's 6 days at best to Westgate.
I say we just stop this guy and push him into the water and then we take the boat.
All right. The High Harvestress has gotten up and she's gone into the back with Griffaro. I stand to lose a substantial amount of money on this. The load alone is going to take us near on a day to unload. It's ore. That's backbreaking work, right? And then there's the question of everything I'm going to lose out to here. The High Harvestress emerges from around the back and says, "You know what's at stake here, Rogar. You know what the right thing is to do.
What if I helped your men unload?
One more back?
No,
I wouldn't say no, but
I have the ability to lift quite a bit.
I have two ogres, or two half-orcs working for me. They're pretty strong, too. Sure, you could help. It's back-breaking work, man. I just don't see how I can help you.
Is there another ship other than the one that comes in 3 days?
3 days. And the Fang of Tesmir will be here in 3 days. It's a good ship. Not the fastest, not bad. It'll have you. If you want to go to Westgate, if you want to follow Shadow's Glint, it'll have you there. You'll only be 10, 12 days behind her.
Way too much. Can we go by land?
Oh, yeah. You'll only be 2-3 months behind her by that point.
Let's say we just killed this guy and take his boat. I'm just saying, guys.
I'm an honorable dockkeeper here.
No offense to you, buddy, but I mean, we're heroes and we got to go do some hero stuff.
I don't have.
You can't be in the dick right now, okay?
You're wanting me to disappoint all these people. For what? You haven't told me for what.
The 30 people who were lost, the children. Can you not see the crowd behind you?
I see them, yes.
The weeping mothers, the screams.
Children, you say?
Yes, 30 of them were taken.
Okay.
For added effect, I'm just gonna pull out my little wakizashi and just like go towards his throat and be like, "We need that boat."
The High Harvestress will put a gentle hand on the hilt with you and say, "Be calm." Navarin, I'm sure we can unload the boat for you. I am sure that we can have your losses made up for if that's what you really require, but I would ask you to look deep in your heart and see if that is what you need at this point. We have half the town coming behind us, sir. Now, what do you need them to do? He says, "Ugh. We'll have to make some space. I guess we'll have to make some space on the dock. I need these wine casks brought back into the warehouse. I need all of this put away safe for the night. Then we're going to need to unload the ore. Then we're going to need to reload whatever you need to bring on board. And if it's going to be a fast ship, we're going to have to unload everything but what's nailed down. If you're going to catch those children, that's what we need to do."
There's
I'll
not
pass
much that
by
we
him.
would be bringing.
I'll pass by him and go ahead and pick up one of the casks.
You pick up one of the casks. You notice that the one next to it is also being picked up. And you can see Griffaro now is carrying one of these casks behind you. Next to the High Harvestress, you see a cloaked figure in a dark cloak, ambling silently up behind her. Keen, you're the first one to see this.
I mean, do I recognize this dark cloak? then taking my sword off of Navarin's throat, just try to slide between her and that cloaked figure.
He lets out a long sigh and says, High Harvestress, watch that one, please. I understand the emotions are high. I'm just trying to run my dogs. And he goes and begins to marshal his men. You said you slide next to the High Harvestress?
I'm trying to get in between her and that cloaked figure that I see.
It's quite close in behind. As you move up beside it, you see 3 sharp pincers drop from one of the sleeves and reach out for the High Harvestress elbow, basically.
I've got my sword out and
It's,
stab.
Okay.
it's
You're not there, Rogar. Go ahead and roll.
I don't know what this thing is.
Okay.
She can heal him. It's okay. Where's my character sheet? Actions. That's an 18.
Yeah, your sword slides cleanly into this thing, almost with the feelings of going into a wet sack, and immediately from both sleeves erupt this golden pour cloud, and as these spores engulf you and the High Harvestress. Why? You hear Pevik's voice racing through your mind. Help! And the High Harvestress turns to you and regards you and says, "What are you doing?
I didn't know it was him.
You act in haste, child."
Look around us. What is happening? I need to make
Parents.
fast decisions.
Parents in pain, siblings in pain. I have a sibling in pain in front of me. Surely you should recognize those wails.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought
Say sorry
it
to
was
him.
Pev, I'm sorry. I thought you might have been one of the shadow people.
Ouch.
I pull it out and I'm just.
Ouch.
I don't have my thing anymore. I gave it to Bilk.
Ouch.
Rand! Rand,
Oh,
do you
Huh.
do you have your healing?
You can see he will be okay. I'll regrow. Just don't do that again.
I'm sorry.
He's
Pev, I
your.
didn't mean it.
I will help. I'm going to go talk to the parents. You take Pevik. You get ready to leave him on board. Don't let anyone see him. Is that understood?
Yes. Rand,
Thank you.
Bilk, stay with me and Pev.
Before you go, she says, you'll find your sister. Believe in Chantia. She will guide your way. And then she breaks free, and you can see her wave into this crowd with her arms up, trying to talk down the crowd and getting them to relax. The crowd slowly begins to quiet down. And soon you can see her explaining what's happening. Rogar, you and Griffaro have been moving barrels now for 20 minutes. It's a huge pile of goods that are at the dock here. There are casks of wine. There are silks. There are different goods, different handmade goods and whatnot that have come from around this region. There's even a small pallet of bricks and things like this. Some smelted metal, things like this that need to be moved off the dock and into the dry. As the crowd begins to quiet, crying fathers begin to join you and muscle many of these goods working. Navarin's men begin to join in, and what would normally take, the better part of 4 to 5 hours to move by a large contingent of people is quickly sorted away. As the dock becomes nearly empty, Navarin returns to you and says, "What do you need? What will we be loading for you?"
Just us.
Griffaro turns to you and says, "Are you going to walk all the way to Baldur's Gate?" "Think, pup. What do we need?" "I plan on riding a horse." And he turns...
And you're coming?
"I'm coming. I've got one more in me. You need my help. You like me, right?"
Yes, of course I do.
"Good. Then let the wheat sheaf of Chantia be grasped in the gauntlet of Helm, and let us fight side by side, brother." And he extends an arm
All right,
up to the glaive.
Yep.
And grasps your wrist.
take it. I have the ability to find my steed, so that's one less that we need.
He begins unhitching the horses, and he says, "We have 7 right here. Maybe you can rustle us up some saddles."
Run
Hey!
I can share.
So he then you hear him undo one of the horses, and he brings it over, taking off of it its livery, and he says, its tack, and he says, "Hey, Navarin, how much can you give me for this wagon?" And he brings it over to a hitching post that's on the dock, and then he goes back for another one, and him and Navarin begin to haggle for the price of this armored wagon. Who knows what Sand is going to say about it, but anyway, he seems intent on selling it. Geen, you're standing with Pevik. The High Harvestress unloads, has 2 of the men unload a large chest and carry it to the dock edge and set it down. It's a long chest, fairly beefy, and has on it a G and a lock. The goods from the dock begin to be unloaded. The parents begin to simply look to the river's mouth. The sun is almost down. We're in the middle of the dusk hour, and they're consoling one another and quietly talking. You can see the lookout far in the distance, high up on a high tower, looking, eyes peeled. And everybody is just tensely waiting for some sound that this boat will arrive. The dockmaster Navarin comes over and says, "You've done good work, but for all I know, they could have been caught in a gale or delayed. Pirates. They may not be here tonight. You understand that? It's a tricky business, this. Or they may be late, or they may need repairs. I can't guarantee you anything." And he walks away frustrated, and you can see that he's feeling rather ashamed with his reluctance, which is from earlier. There's braziers lit next to you and Pevik, Geen. That's where the High Harvestress is standing. Griffaro moves to join her. The horses are all nearby. His chest is next to him. He's sitting on it now with the High Harvestress. What are the 3 of you doing?
I will step away because he's put so much doubt now into my mind that I will begin to pray to Helm
Okay. What would you pray to Helm for?
Guidance,
And
swiftness,
And the answer
surety.
to what burning question or what surety would you be asking? Let's hear that prayer, Rover.
Almighty Helm, he of the gauntlet, guardian of every. Give me strength in this time, these moments of uncertainty.
I want you to finish, Rogar, and you don't see this, although Runt and Geen, you see this. Fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, are assembling behind Rogar, facing the same way he's facing, and they begin to kneel behind him in rows, silently, hearing his words.
Watch over these parents of Harrowdale. Send us swift winds to catch this shadow's glint and return their children home. And all these things I ask you in your own mighty name.
You feel 4 hands on your shoulder, your armor. And if you care to glance behind you, you'll see that each arm of the pious person in the various rows have now fanned out, all joined, hand on shoulder, hand on shoulder, hand on shoulder. And there has to be at least 90 to 100 people here. They're all arrayed on this flat dock front with you, pointed in the direction of the river's mouth. The sun has now set. The clouds are silver in front, on the edge of the water. And for a moment, you look up, and as every eye rises towards the skyline, it's as though a second sun glances off of the clouds above it, and in just this silver weave, almost like a tapestry, as the sun's rays just cast upwards in a mighty fan of light. And for a moment, you're awestruck by what you see. Silence is broken by a bell far above and the high tower. Voices behind you begin to murmur excitedly.
Ship is coming in.
Horizon, it's a ship.
Look at those sails.
It's the dancing sword.
You can see
Look at them go.
this.
And she's being escorted in.
You can see this massive sail on this boat, full of wind, as if it's under full sail. In front of it, for a brief moment, Rogar, you see a silvery shape. It looks as though it's a boat in front of her. like a spectral boat. And as it moves towards the dock and begins to cut sail and begins to lower its sails and begins to slow its approach, spilling off speed, that boat moves ahead of it and then evaporates into nothing. The boat, the dancing sword, is skillfully maneuvered up next to the dock. Lines are thrown. They are fast tied to the cleats, and the captain is shouting orders back and forth. They begin to pull this boat closer into the dock, and you can see that the crew on top is moving back and forth. The High Harvestress turns to you and says, "Well, I suppose this will be goodbye." The dock the dock ramp is lowered. All the able-bodied people of this 90, including young children, begin to move in and swarm the various goods and the holds of ore and carrying pails and using baskets and using their dresses and aprons and anything that they can carry ore in. They are emptying this boat as fast as you can imagine. Just a steady stream of hands helping, and the ship begins to slowly raise up out of the water as the weight is no longer displacing its load, and you can see it sliding up, and as if it's becoming 2 to 3 feet taller, and the ramp is rising up. And then you really get a sense for its size and its sleekness and how large it is. And you can see some people disembarking with luggage, and you can see cranes working. You can see some other passengers leaning over the rail, fit to carry on. Navarin is up there, and he's talking to the captain. The crew is confused. They're not quite sure what has gone on. They're not sure what this spectral ship meant in front of them. You can see that the captain is confused, but soon you see that the High Harvestress has joined him, and as the captain comes down off the ship, she's going to talk to him, and you can see her pass him a sizable sack of money. Your horses are loaded on board. Anything that you had not brought with you to the Stilton docks has been brought for you. It's in the back of the wagon, and now it's laying next to you. Townsfolk ask you if you need anything else. Griffaro stands there silently. He takes Pevik's arm from Eugene and says, "I've said my goodbyes." Perhaps room for one more. If you'll watch him for just one moment, Geen. And he hands you Pevik's arm back. He walks over to the High Harvestress and he says, "Hildy, if I don't see you again, you know I love you." And he picks her up, and he picks her up to his full height. And he, even though he's elder, he's on the older side, and she's an elder dwarf, he lays a kiss on this lady that you would think makes them both in their teens, early adults, right? And he just lays a big wet one on her. "You know I love you. You take care of yourself." "You know I can, Griff. You come back to me. You teach them what you can. You keep our friends safe. I've told you what I need you to do. I know. I love you." I love you too. And you can see a tear rolling down her eye as she watches him go over, takes Pevek and leads him up and over the rail with two of the townsfolk carrying his chest with him. She comes into the two of you and leans down next to Bilk and says, "A little one?" You keep smiling. You keep bringing light into their lives. Fight the darkness wherever you can. Away with you, then. And he skips up after Griffaro, leaving the three of you standing at the dock with the High Harvesters. And she regards each one of you silently. I guess this is goodbye, at last.
We will return with these children.
Or more realistically, some of these children.
She bends down to you and she says, "I haven't figured you out yet, Runt."
That's okay, mean. Well, gotta go.
She watches you. She watches you skip up. She turns to Rogar. There's a darkness in that one, brother. I don't know what it is, but I think you need to be wary.
It stems from her background. She's doing her best.
One finger can sour the milk. And you, Keen. I do hope you find your sister. I do hope you can help her find the light, if she is cast in darkness. But with what we've seen with Burkle, with what we've seen of the Luhics, don't go unarmed. Use your wits. People change.
We should go.
The High Harvester steps back a few feet and regards you kindly. Mothers and fathers are gathered around you. Some are lining the ramp as you go up, wanting to touch you and shake your hand and just say thank you. Wish you well. Tell you their thoughts and prayers are with you. You hop over the rail. No sooner do you do this than the sheets fall, the lines are cast off, and the boat begins to move. And Harrowdale begins to fade. Sounds of the dock off in the distance. The High Harvestress, sightless, steely gaze still locked on the boat. As you move away, light begins to fade. Lanterns are lit, hung down over the side. Sailors' eyes are peeled as the darkness begins to settle in around them. And you head down to Dragon Reach. And that's where we'll stop.
Man, how in the hell are we gonna get 30 kids out of wherever they are and bring them back here? That's gonna be that's a job.
Well, you got a couple of things in your favor, and one is that with the defeat of the cheese monster and the Oni, you are all at level 6.
Yay! That's
So-
exciting.
So that's something to look forward to. I thought what we could do, if you'd like, before we leave, is you're welcome to roll hit points if you'd like to do that now, or you can go ahead and do that in private if you'd like.
You can do it now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't take that long.
So why don't we go, Brad, Geen, Runt? You can tell us what you were at, where you're going to be next, and then we'll call it a night, and we'll wrap up with some beans. So maybe while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and we'll have Chalta check in with our
Yes.
Twitch joints. All right, Runt, what did you get?
It's time for the magic beans. Oh, it's time for the magic beans.
You do get magic
Time
beans.
for
Okay,
the
so
magic, time for the magic. Let's
Runt,
see
that'll
who
take you
gets
from
magic
28 to
beans.
36, yeah?
Yeah, that's exciting.
All right, 36 at level 6. And I'm sure you got lots of good stuff coming your way.
I lucked out with a 9.
Holy moly, high rolls. That'll take you up to 48.
Mm-hmm.
And Geen.
I got a 6.
Not bad, not bad. 44, nice even number. At least it's not 30. That would be a bad omen. Just kidding.
Well, actually, 44 in Japan is a really bad number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 4 is a bad number. It has connotations of death all over it.
Yeah, same in Chinese as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, maybe level 6 will be a lot of fun for you.
Oh,
All right, cool. Let's go around and hit the beans real quick. Let's go. Same order as our intro. Let's do that. Unless Rogar, unless Brad, you're feeling inspired, then go for it.
I would like to give it to Runt for her
that's 46.
drunken behavior and misbehavior, and of all the things that she could steal, she stole buttons.
There you go.
They're very nice buttons.
I wanted to give my bean to Runt too for kicking the boy in the shins.
All right, that's 2 extra for Runt. That'll take you from 8 to 10, so you are at inspiration so
Yay.
far. Good.
Checkbox.
And Shady.
I wanted to give it to Geen because of when that dude was talking mad shit about her sister. She didn't attack him, which is what old Geen would have done. So she's come a little bit as a character.
She did
And
stab a
then-
mushroom. I mean,
and then-
I didn't know, Tim. I asked you if I recognized him, and you said no. And I've
Yeah.
got a 15 passive insight, so I was like,
He's
"Hey,
close,
it's probably
man.
a shadow guy."
sorry. Just to be clear, I'm here for you. Remember that. But you asked me if you recognized the cloak.
Oh, God.
That is true. I do remember that. And then I almost wanted to give it to Geen for when the High Harvesters was talking to her and we're about to leave, and she's giving her some heartfelt stuff, and then Geen stone cold.
I gotta go. Stone cold.
We gotta go.
Right
so-
now, she is so impatient. I thought we were going to be on the boat and having a heart to heart by the end of this. I've got
we-
so much to say about all this information we got. So
We
I'm
have
just
no
like,
time.
we need to get on this boat right now.
But I'm gonna give it to Rogar for that prayer, man. Dude, that was awesome.
It was.
Sir.
Yeah, he was like, What's the prayer?" I'm like, "Ooh," when I like settled in because I'm like, "Oh, Brad's gonna do something cool," and it was awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
right on. So that was for Rogar an extra 1, so you're up to +4. And when we go out to the Twitchverse, 100% of the people that voted for Rogar again for
Yay.
among other things, for the epic prayer and
Yeah.
for putting I think it was Rogar, you made the call on the 30 kids 30 mirrors thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, good on you.
Thank
on
you,
ya.
Twitch.
So all right, guys, well, we got 4 minutes to go, so why don't we just take a little bit of time and we can talk about, even though we're not so much in character, but why don't we just imagine for a moment, our final 4 minutes here, that the 3 characters now are sitting on the boat, pulling away at the rail, watching Harrowdale sail off into the distance. Bilk is trying to give Griffaro a haircut. In fact, he's opened up a little shop right now. And he's trying to convince everybody to let him cut their hair. What do you think, Geen, since you've got a lot to say? What would be the question that you would put in front of Rogar and Runt?
To be honest, she doesn't really have questions. She just has ideas that she wants to talk to them about, specifically about the mirrors.
What idea does she have?
Well, right, I was writing all these notes so I don't forget them for next week, but she's seeing all of these connections with the Oni, with the shadow people being from Kozakura. She's seeing all of these connections to her home country, so she's thinking that maybe there's got to be something to do with these mirrors, because there is lore in her culture for mirrors being some sort of demon or something that can either transform your reflection or can be used to like capture spirits. So she's thinking that maybe that's what these mirrors are doing. They're like capturing the children within them that have their names to them.
Turning
Although
kids into demons.
Yeah, pretty much. But like the fact that they know the names of these kids and they're engraving the names of these kids
Oh yeah,
on
that's
there,
super sketchy.
I mean, did these mothers and fathers order the mirrors? How did they get all of the names for these children? So she's got a lot of these kind of speculations and stuff that she really wants to get out.
And to be
meet her
clear,
friends.
remember that, just in case I wasn't clear enough in character, that our pal,
Luke.
no,
No.
Antlitzvar Flucht, he had said that he didn't do the scrolling of those names, that it was sloppily done,
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
and he shipped them without names.
Oh, he shipped them without names?
So where
Oh.
did they ask the kids for the names?
With the bodies that were in the Oni's little hovel, did it look as though that there were small bodies?
Looked as though it was an elderly man and a younger woman.
Okay.
There were bodies in that chamber?
Yeah, they were chained to the wall.
Oh.
Well, what was left of them.
You also saw a wagon that you recognized upstairs. Remember that?
Hmm.
Who'd that belong to?
The people that we entered the city with?
Who knows?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Stinks like cheese!
Yes, a lot of cheese.
There's fermented milk. So, yeah. What else would you... I think we're at time, actually, unless you guys want to ask any other questions or let us in on what is the... well, what I'd ask you to do is, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and start thinking about, and feel free to talk amongst yourselves, because we're going to be on this boat for a while, so over the course of the next week, go ahead and tell us what your characters, arrange what your characters are going to be wanting to sort of sort out. And then next week, we'll do some of that in character. And we can find out what you've discovered. Okay.
Seems
I wouldn't say the big stuff. I'm just saying the questions that you've got. Go ahead and pose those to others right away, and then we'll do it in character so you guys can have a little time to prep. Sound good?
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, it's the 18th of September and 19th of September.
Technically,
So,
it's the
have a good
20th.
week, everybody. And it's 20th there hey, on the East Coast. All right. Good night, everybody.